This last week, there are 4 great research articles we would love to share with you. Now, they're all brilliant in their own nature, but however though, they tend to challenge how we think about certain things as well as possibly offer us valuable tools in order to improve certain daily outcomes. Now, those 4 articles are as follows. Your liver is just under 3 years old, where it's an interesting take on reference to carbon dating, in particular C14, where they actually wanted to look at the age of the cells, in particular liver cells. Henceforth, the title, Your Liver is Just 3 Years Old. We'll get into that in a second. And when I say 3 years old, it doesn't mean whether you're 3, 6, or 60. At any point in your time, due to this radiocarbon dating, your cells just show 3 years old in reference to the liver. After that, drumming improves behavior and brain function in autistic adolescents, scientists reveal. Now, what is intriguing about this is just with the minimal amount of effort of 90 minutes twice a week for about an 8-week period of time, they were actually able to not only improve certain outcomes in reference to autistic adolescents, but actually see the visual changes itself in brain activity. After that, good bacteria to help tackle depression. Now, the prelude to this, obviously, is individuals were taking a probiotic, basically nothing massive, 900 colony forming units for about once a day for 31 days. And I should say what was interesting is they were actually able to increase gray matter, but also too, within this short duration of time, the probiotic group, obviously both groups did well, but the probiotic group did a little bit better, but actually able to normalize certain aspects of brain function just within 31 days with a basic probiotic at 900 CFU a day. They couldn't identify any particular probiotic per se, but they know something's there. Then, also too, on the inverse, antibiotics wreak havoc on athletic performance. An animal study. But this animal study is enlightening in one particular aspect. It shows why good bacteria is important to athletic performance. Now, albeit there are 2 groups of animals. One group was highly trained, the other group was more sedentary, and the differences are primarily noticed in the highly trained group. But it still elucidates a certain mechanism of bacteria that many people may not be familiar with. Let's get right into the first one as follows. Your liver is just under 3 years old. An international team have used retrospective radiocarbon birth dating to show that the human liver stays young throughout life and is on average less than 3 years old. This is going to open up a broad range of questions as to what exactly is aging. To proceed, the human liver remains a young organ. The interdisciplinary team of biologists, physicists, mathematicians, and clinicians led by Dr. Bergman analyzed the livers of multiple individuals who died at ages between 20 and 84 years of age. Surprisingly, the team showed that the liver cells of all subjects were more or less the same age. No matter if you are 20 or 84, the liver stays on average just under 3 years old. The results show that the adjustment of liver mass to the needs of the body is tightly regulated through the constant replacement of liver cells, and this process is maintained even in older people. This ongoing liver cell replacement is important for various aspects of liver regeneration and cancer formation. The Bergman group also explored the mechanisms that drive the regeneration of other tissues, considered as static, such as the brain or the heart. The team has previously used their expertise in retrospective radiocarbon birth dating to show that the formation of new brain and heart cells is not limited to prenatal time, but continues throughout life. Currently, the group is investigating whether new human heart muscle cells can still be generated in people with chronic heart disease. So when these new cells are constantly being propagated, you could see the questions beginning to arise. What is disease? What is aging? Especially since new cells are supposed to be part of that replacement. A defect in basically the regeneration of new cells, that's adding publisher bias, but definitely a hypothesis. But you get the picture. Next one. Drumming improves behavior and brain function on autistic adolescents, scientists reveal. Drumming for 90 minutes each week helps autistic children overcome hyperactivity and attention deficit difficulties. Following drum training, adolescents had improved synchronicity between brain regions responsible for inhibitory control, which prevents impulsivity. Renowned imaging scientists, this alludes to basically how it was done. Professor Stephen Williams from King's College London, associate of the Clemberg Project, added, quote, drumming not only improves the ability to delay the onset of motor responses in autistic adolescents, but also reduces hyperactivity and attentional difficulties. Complementary functional imaging allowed us, quoting, to visualize changes in brain circuits responsible for self-regulation in motor impulsivity. Now keep in mind, it doesn't say the length of time of the particular trial in the public release. So if you go to the full study itself, you can see 2 lessons, 90 minutes each, for 8 weeks. It says a lot for music appreciation, at least in the realm of percussion. Then, after that, good bacteria tackle depression. And now keep in mind, this is just going to allude to generally the bacteria itself. They don't know which one. And we'll go to the methodology and I'll point what they used, but still it's a lot to delve into. To proceed, intestinal flora plays a role in health, including mental health. Researchers from the University of Basel and the University Psychiatric Clinics Basel have shown that probiotics can support the effect of antidepressants and help alleviate depression. Basel, per se. So, what they did is we go into the study itself, especially the full study, the DOI citation, moving away from the public release. The probiotics increase gray matter volume in the calcarine sulcus, and then also too, as you delve deeper into the study itself, the probiotic altered the putamen activation during emotional processing. So what happens is you had the gray matter impact as well as improvement in mood beyond just that of the antidepressants. Now, this is the part that really stood out to me as you read the whole study. Now, before we get there, the intervention. That's the form they used. You could go through the list. Again, they're not able to identify any particular bacteria that basically helped yield such a beneficial effect. But as you can see, the 900 billion colony-forming units, henceforth the CUFU a day, they can mix with any beverage they wanted to. And the duration, as you go down a little further, was 31 days. Now, the change in the processing emotional stimuli. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is just the length of time it took. And the outcome being as dramatic as it was. To proceed, another interesting effect of taking probiotics was seen in relation to brain activity when viewing neutral or fearful faces. The researchers investigated the effect of using functional magnetic resonance imaging in patients with depression. Certain brain regions for emotional processing behave differently than in individuals with good mental health. After 4 weeks of probiotics, the brain activity normalized in the probiotic group, but not in the placebo. So there you have it, 900 colony-forming units per day, not knowing which particular probiotic it was, or strain I should say, for 31 days, resulted in 4 weeks of brain activity normalized in that probiotic group. That is groundbreaking, earth-shattering. You can find that in the full study itself. Delve into it. The link will be there, and you can read it on your own, and it's quite enlightening. To proceed next. Now, this one is not to basically promote the negatives of the antibiotics. Actually, I should say avert the negative of antibiotics, as many of us are already aware of. But it elucidates, or basically enlightens us as well, in regard to why good bacteria is so important for athletic performance. To proceed, neither group, now they had 2 groups of animals. One group was very active, athletic per se. The other one, not so much. Of mice exhibited any signs of sickness behavior from the antibiotic treatment. So they can't say, well, one group fell sick and the other one didn't. That's why the athletic behavior was not as effective. But When wheel running, all right, remember we're talking mice, in athletic mice was reduced by 21%. Researchers were certain the microbiome damage was responsible. In addition, the higher runner mice, more athletic ones, did not recover their running behavior even 12 days after the antibiotic treatment stopped. Now we get a little further. The behavior of the normal mice was not significantly affected either during the treatment or afterward. A casual exerciser with a minor injury wouldn't be affected much, but in a world-class athlete, a small setback can be much more magnified. You see where they're going for that? Quoting the researcher. That's why, quoting, we wanted to compare the two types of mice. Knocking out the normal gut microbiome might be compared with an injury. So they're saying it'd be like if you're a world-class athlete or you're a runner, or whatever it is, you push yourself to the limit. Damage to the microbiome is like damaging your ankle, damaging your back, damaging whatever. It is still a physical insult, per se. One way the microbiome might affect exercise in mice or in humans is through its ability to transform carbohydrates into chemicals that travel through the body and affect muscle performance. Metabolic end products from bacteria in the gut can be reabsorbed and used as fuel. Fewer good bacteria means less available fuel. So, for those that tend to push themselves, get fatigued, very physical jobs, moving around a lot, taking care of kids, so on and so forth, if there is a little bit of a greater amount of fatigue, shortly after taking an antibiotic, now keep in mind this is an animal model, I don't want to add publisher bias, so this is kind of like hypothetical, it could be a very strong chance that that antibiotic, by disrupting the microbiome, can inhibit the body's ability to utilize the fuel that you are consuming appropriately. Does that mean taking a probiotic may help offset the negative outcome of an antibiotic? That is for future research to determine. Again, basically we'll have all links there to all the full studies per se for medical professionals out there that you can follow on your own. Again, I cannot emphasize enough every single week. Gratitude to the research that comes out. It's very valuable and I greatly appreciate it, as I hope you do. And as well as for you watching, I am always humbled and look forward to see you all once again next week. Catch you all next time. See you then. Bye.